This website layout does not need to be complicated at all. So here's how this website is designed and built on purpose so that Ruby can get the clients that are most aligned to her and get those clients to say yes. So, homepage. No fluff, no filler, just a quick introduction, a headline that lets you know that you're in the right place, a graphic that gives you a little bit of a hint of what kind of person you're working with. And the purpose of a homepage, generally speaking, is for someone who already knows about you and your business. So this kind of acts as the landing page for somebody who is already familiar with Ruby and the Misfit Social. So the call to action here is explore services, and when we click that, goes down to the blurbs for each service. Now, I think one thing that I would probably tweak here is just make these descriptions a little bit shorter. My school of thought with content is just say enough to get the point across and err on the side of people having short attention spans. And also bear in mind that when this page shows up on a mobile phone, each of these three columns is going to stack one on top of each other. So bear in mind that if there's too much text, and it's going to create a lots of scrolling and visual fatigue for people on mobiles. But in any case, these settings sort of clearly explain what each of the different areas of service are. And then if we come down, there's a little bit of an introduction about Ruby. I think this is nice because, it's not too long, and I think it's a good idea to have a about me section just as like to give the website a bit of context and a bit of authenticity as well, just so you know that you're dealing with a real person and this is what that person stands for. And then we've got some testimonials here for social proof and acknowledgement of country, social media icons. Yes, it's a good idea to include these. No, they don't have to be huge and stand out a lot. They're kind of just my reason for seeing them down here and putting them down here is just so that people who are already familiar with you know that they have the option to connect with you on these platforms. And I also do often repeat the menu down in the footer as well, just to make things a little bit easier to find. And it gives people a freedom to navigate wherever they're at. Services. We can again either go to a services landing page, and there's a sign up form here. If we wanted to make this sign up form pop even more and get more interest, I would actually consider putting something like this. So not this design exactly, but this form on its own landing page, and you can direct people to that off your social media with like an opt-in or just something like, hey, if you like what I'm saying here, here's a way to get more of it and in a more direct way in your inbox. And there's that. And then you can also go to each of the services individually. So each one is kind of self-explanatory. For buttons on this sort of page, there's a lot of temptation to say something like contact us or worse yet, click here, and like, come on, that's boring. We really want to sell what Ruby is doing here. So I've put straight up on the button here, get your strategy overhaul. It's saying what you're going to get if you take a step forward and go and work with Ruby. And that takes you to the contact page. Other things you can do with that button is take it directly to a cart or a checkout or some kind of offer page where they can make a payment or make an appointment with you. So that's that. We've just been taken to the contact page. Now we've also got FAQs. I think this is brilliant and beautiful, something that every service provider should have, because you're going to be asked questions, and having a page like this dramatically cuts down all the Q&A that you have to do. If somebody's like popping into your DMs and you've got to go back and forth and answer questions, and that sort of cuts into the time that they could actually be deciding to work with you, and you got your own thing to do, and they could have just like read this FAQ thing in their own time. So that's why I would put that there. I would also generally put FAQs on the same page as each of the services. And then there's an about section. This is a great thing to have if you are a solopreneur and you offer one-on-one services. Again, the about section, especially an extended version, does not need to take up real estate on your homepage or your services page, because at the end of the day, your website and your business and what you're selling, you're doing it for your customer, for your client. Selling yourself is important, but it's not the top most important thing. The top most important thing that your website and your landing pages, except for the About Me page, the topmost job of those pages is to convince your prospective client that you're the right one for them. And they're going to get their desires taken care of by what you're doing. If it's just like all me, then all you're really doing is just showing how vain you are. So it's totally okay to want to have an About You section, and it is helpful, again, for authenticity so that your customer knows who they're dealing with. But if you want to get someone to give you money for an outcome that they want, the outcome that they want is not because they're working with you. The outcome that they want is what they want. Essentially, what I'm saying is that your customer, your client, is the hero of the journey. They're the hero, and they need to be reassured that their needs and values are important and reflected in your sales pages. That's how I consider what goes into websites. I hope this gave you some good insights into what yours could possibly have. And if you've got any questions about how this might work for you, please don't hesitate to reach out. This is what I love doing.